Hey everyone, it's Chris here. So I've got a bit of a different video today. I am going to be going through a maintenance clean of the X1 Carbon, but this applies to any of the Bambu P1S, P1P or the X1C. I'm going to go through cleaning the rods, I'm going to clean the bed, I'm going to give it a general clean out, clean the glass doors, the camera, all of that stuff. So this is stuff that you want to be carrying out probably monthly if you've got a lot of wear and tear on your printer. So stay tuned and we will go through it right now, and it's going to be a good one. So let me just give you a little walk and talk through first. You can see the rods are pretty dirty. I've got remnants of prints all over the place. That one back there is really dirty. Up there I've got loads of bits. I did actually clean the screen, but the screen's dirty. And because I'm printing a lot of ABS, I find that the actual front door gets a bit dirty as well. So that's where we're starting at, and we'll push through it now, and I'll show you it at the end as well. So I usually start by having a bit of a vacuum. In this case, I've got a shark one with this little attachment on the end, which makes it very, very easy to do. I just tend to aim it in there. As you can see, that's already looking so much better in there, and I'll just get in all the nooks and crannies and just try and make sure it's as clean as possible before I start doing any wipe downs. So now we've had a little vacuum, and you can see kind of the back and the sides are so much cleaner. Yeah, it's all looking well. One thing I will say is don't forget this little crevice area here. Make sure you have a good clean out of that as well, because stuff can easily get lost there. So what we're going to do next is we're going to home the printer just so it knows exactly where it is. Settings button and then the little home icon in the middle, and as you see now it's going to home. So the reason we're actually homing it is just so the printer knows exactly where the head is, and then it will allow us to actually manually adjust the position of this bed and the head, so we can get optimized positioning to clean the rods and also the belts. Okay, so we're going to start off cleaning our Z rods. This is stuff that you can get on Amazon. It's called gear floss, and it's really, really effective. In the past, I didn't have this, and it was quite a manual process to get it clean, because as you can see, once I zoom in, it's very, very mucky, very dirty. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to wrap it around. You're going to get dirty hands here. I probably should be wearing gloves, but to be honest with you, I don't care that much. I'll just wash my hands after. So give it a little wrap around, and then as you pull it, I mean, this is absolutely filthy. You can see this already. As you pull it, it'll work its way around into the grooves, and it will really, really get the muck off of it. So you want to try and get up, to the bottom as far as you can, and then to the top. We're going to move the bed in a bit, which will actually allow us to get further into the top spaces. To get to the bottom, I usually loosen it off, just so it sits there, and then you've got the motion to get to the bottom then. So we're going to do that all the way on all three rods. I'm only going to show it on this one, but as you can imagine, the rear one is a bit fiddly to get to, but it's the same process. I mean, what I will quickly do is give you a little, I mean, look at that. I think I last did this probably a month ago, and it's that dirty already, so that's probably me over lubricating it. There's also just an element of it just getting grime on it from being used so much. So I'll try and show you how clean this is now. I mean, that's just one quick go over with gear floss, and it's really transformed it. You can kind of see at the top there where I haven't cleaned it very well. It's still quite dark, so we're going to do that on all three of them. So we're going to do it on the rear one here, which is really filthy for me. We're going to do it on the right-sided one, which is also equally as filthy, and I will carry on the video once I've done those. Okay then, we've done all three. I've got a light this time as well, so we should actually be able to see a bit better now. So as you can see, I mean, I haven't done the top bit, but I'm going to show you that next. These are looking so much better. They are really good. Even the one at the back, which I'll try and get in and show you, it's looking really good. I'll zoom in on it. That might be an easy way to show you. Compared to how it was, very happy with that. So the next thing we're going to do is move the bed all the way down. So we homed it earlier, so we'll be able to do that now. And we'll do it, I increment it by 10 and I just keep pressing it because now it's homed, it knows exactly how far it can travel without clashing. So it won't clash with the bottom of the bed. It'll stop when it knows it's at the bottom. And it's about there. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look as a comparison of just how clean. I mean, look at the top bit. That's the bit we haven't done yet, and that's the bit underneath it. This one at the back is really bad. I mean, that might be part of the reason my print quality's been reducing. This particular one as well, just as bad. So we're going to do the same thing now. We're going to get our gear floss and clean all 3 top bits, and then we'll do the next bit after that. There you go. Spick and span, looking good. That one looks... Yeah, we're happy with that. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is lubricate those. So we're actually going to use, I believe this is recommended on the Bambu website, Super Lube. I've used it in the past, really good stuff. The secret with this is less is more, so we don't want to coat it. But, I mean, I'm going to be applying it manually onto this, but I personally, if I had the actual, if I had a paintbrush, or even you can 3D print some application tools to do it, if I had one of those I probably would, but I'm just going to try and carefully put a very small sliver down the end of each one, and I'll try and show you that now. Okay, so what we want to do is take the lid off, obviously. I just run a really tiny amount, and I'm probably going to mess this up now. I've got it on the camera. I'll try and get the camera in there. Like a really tiny amount all the way down it. Just very small little bits. And actually, what I tend to do is just rub it in with my fingers. Just because we don't want excess in there. Because if you put too much on, it ultimately is going to be a bit worse. And actually, I might even try and put it on my fingers and apply it that way. So less is more, like I said. We're going to apply it on there. If you don't mind getting your hands dirty, try doing it this way. But I mean, I've probably got grease all over my hands, so I'm probably actually undoing all the hard work I've just done cleaning it, but I don't really care. I'm not after perfection, I'm just after improvement. So that's that one. We're going to do the same for the other 3, or the other 2, should I say. Okay, that's all done. I've also cleaned my hands now, so I'm not covered in grease. So now that we've lubricated them lightly, what we're going to do is we're going to move the bed up and down a few times, and we'll just do it this way. And this will just allow the runners to kind of bind in there, and hopefully it will help spread it into the actual nooks and crannies of the gear. So we're up, and now we're going to go down. And I am going to keep it down, just so I can then show you the next stage. So I'm happy with that now. We're probably well lubricated up and down. They're clean. Stuff isn't going to stick to them. We're happy. So the next stage is going to be up in here. We're going to be cleaning the carbon fibre rods. And actually, I think mine are going to be filthy because I do print with a lot of ABS. We're going to do that. We're also going to give the belts a little bit of a wipe, and we're just going to give it a general clean. So let's get on with that next step. So to make life easier, we're going to take off the AMS, and in my case I've got a riser. So I'm going to take that off, and all we'll do is unplug the cables around the back, lift it off and put it to the side, and then we're going to lift the glass off, and that will give us access into the top. Point to note, if you're not sure how to take the AMS off, down here, if I can show you, around about here, you've got 2 buttons, and you push them in, and then that will allow the PTFE tube out the back to pop out. We're also going to remove that black cable. One other thing I've just noticed taking my AMS off is just how dusty this glass is, so we'll also be giving that a clean because, you know, if we can clean lots of little parts, it all adds up in the long run. So whilst I've got the top off, you can see we've still got some little tiny bits of 3D prints lying around, so I'm going to actually give it another vacuum clean at this stage because I've got better access now. And then after this we will proceed with cleaning the rods and the belt. So once again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving the print head now using the X button. We want to move it all the way, and that'll give us full access to those rods so we can get in there. Right then, so let's spray, as you can see, just a little bit on there. And then what we're going to be doing is in a controlled manner, we're just going to be pinching the carbon fibre rod and running it along it. Trying not to touch the belts. I probably touched them a little bit, but it'll be alright. Oh, actually, I'm noticing a bit of wear and tear in my belt there, so this is a good point where you can actually have a bit of a health check on this thing. I might have to replace those at some point. For now, we'll just keep going. So more. I'm going to do the same with the lower carbon fibre rod. There we go. We definitely do not want to lubricate these with anything, okay? Just IPA spray and just a light wipe. So now we've done that, we're going to move. Oh, I don't know what I've done there. We're going to move it all the way to the left. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. As you can see, actually, there's a bit of dirt on there, so we'll turn that around. So they clearly needed a bit of a wipe down here. So once again, we're going to get in there all the way along. Same on the bottom one. Taking care to try not to touch the actual belts. So that's done. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take the inside face that is dry. I know it is. I'm touching it there. That's dry. And then I'm going to wipe the belts down, okay? Just a light wipe. Try and get it. Just a light wipe along it. You can feel it. And what that'll do is it'll just remove any muck or grime that's maybe built up in there. But as I said, my belts potentially will need a replacement soon. Like I said, this printer is probably a year and a half old now, so and it's been going hard for the last 3-4 months. So we're going to move that all the way along. Same with this one. We're just going to give those belts a bit of a pinch and run it along and wipe them. There we go. We're happy with that. There are also belts at the rear, so we can't really do a lot to them, but I'm just going to give them a wipe as well. We can't get the backside of them, but we can at least get part of them. Okay, and then the final thing we want to do in terms of the rods is we've got these ones along here as well. So we're going to push the head this way and then also give them a wipe as well. Okay, here we go. There you go. Made a nice little clunk there, probably broken the printer, but we must go on. Let's carry on, guys. Right then. A nice light spray, and actually this is going to be a bit easier because it's a bit more room between the belt and the carbon fibre rod. Well, actually, this one's metal, to be honest with you. It's not carbon fibre. I think it's metal. So we're going to do the same with this one. We just want to make sure there's no build-up. Then I'm going to take a part of the cloth that is dry, which that's dry there, and then I'm going to do the same with the belt here. Just a nice little rub, just to make sure there's no build-up left on it. Swap hands so you can see what I'm doing. Right. So the next thing I'm going to do is, you see, we've got a perimeter here of just things, and I think it's a bit dusty, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to give that a light wipe with IPA. Also, the light, I would recommend wiping that because that builds up muck over time. So yeah, we'll just give all the other areas now, any plasticky rub, any plastic areas, an IPA rub. Same with the top bit, just to make it as nice as possible. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean these carbon fibre rods. You'll notice you've got the belts in close proximity, and one thing I would like to state is ideally you do not want to be putting any IPA, which we're going to be using in a second, I'll show you, on those, because it can actually deteriorate the rubber. So what we're going to be doing on those in a minute is we're going to get an air duster, we're going to dust them out so any bits of air, any particles are blown away, and then we're just literally going to wipe them down with a cloth. Just any build up will be gone then. But first we'll be doing the actual carbon fibre rods, and these are going to be quite dirty because they do pick up a lot of muck. So for that, we are going to be using an isopropyl alcohol. In this case, this one's 99.9%. And also it will be a microfiber cloth. And to make sure we've got full control, I'm going to be spraying the cloth with the alcohol and then wiping it down, okay? So we'll be doing that next. Okay. We're going by the old methodology of prevention is better than cure here. Well, for everything except for the belts, we're not replacing those at the moment. So we're going to give this metal surface a wipe down. Also the top of this a wipe down. Just anything that might have picked up dust. Also the light we're going to wipe. And one thing I will say is, if you have got an X1C, there's the camera there, so sometimes it's worth giving that a little wipe. It might be better with a lens cleaner though, so if my camera's looking a bit ropey after this, I will be going back with a lens cleaner. Okay, so it's looking pretty good in there now actually. One thing I haven't done yet is to move the Y-axis all the way back down the other end, just to get to the other part of the belt. So I'm going to be getting that now, just to make sure I've actually addressed every single part of it. That bit's done, same with the other side. There we go. I'm also just going to have a little wipe around here whilst that's gone. Wipe on the top. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. That's looking good. The last thing I'm going to do is get an air compressor and give it a little blast. So I'm not affiliated with this in any way. This is just a cheap one I got off Amazon, but it's actually really, really good. I've had a lot of success with it so far. You can charge it with a USB-C. And it comes with a few little attachments. In this case, I think I'm going to use... where is it? This one. So this will just allow us to direct quite accurately where we need to go. So I'm just going to go around and do all these little belts and every other area. So it's going to get loud now. Okay, that's the first blast. We're going to move the Y-axis back to allow us to do the back end here. So let's do it. If it turns on. Right, there we go. So that pretty much cleared that. You know, we got a few little specks of filament that came out there, so that was worth doing. It's pretty clean now. I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is clean the glass and then put it all back together. I think we're at a stage where ultimately that has had enough maintenance to keep it going a while. One thing you can also do is to change, let me focus, change the filters. I probably should do that. I'll need to buy one because I haven't actually ever changed that, so I'm probably poisoning myself slowly there. You could also blow out this fan with the air compressor that I just used. I'm not going to do that now, but you can do that. So I will cut back once I've put everything back together. So when you are plugging things back into the AMS, this is how it needs to go. Well, if you haven't got more than one AMS, so put your PTFE tube back in and also the cable into that first port there. So because I gave it a bit of a blast at the end there, I'm just going to quickly vacuum clean it one more time just to get any loose debris. There we go. So the last thing we're going to do is we are actually going to give the build plate a clean. You'll see here, mine's pretty dirty. You can see traces of, well, I print a lot of rails in ABS and it's left a lot of trace there. So I'll show you exactly how to do that next. Right, so all I do for these beds is take some washing up liquid. This is what we've got in the UK. Just some warm water, probably boiling hot because I've had it running. I give it a little run down. Then, just by hand, I'll put a little bit on and I'll just literally rub it in by hand. Everything's hand rubbed in today, as you can see. So I'm just giving it a nice little, turn that off so you can hear me, nice little rub down, just to remove any kind of adhesive or any glue or anything you got left on there. Then, literally just rinse it off, rinse my hands off as well. And then what I'll do is I'll let it dry naturally, or I use some paper towel just to dry it off, and then we are good to go. So we've got it back in. My build plate's well used, so we haven't got rid of all the residue, but it's good enough now. So the last thing I'm going to do is get some IPA spray and just give the bottom tray a bit of a wipe down, because there's a little bit of residue in there, there's a little bit of muck. You know, we've cleaned everything else on most things, so why not do the last bit? So for this one, I am just going to spray directly in there. Just a very light amount. Then we are going to take our cloth and just give it a good wipe inside of there. Just so it looks new again, or as good as it can be. So there we go, looking much better. Right, so we have now got a pretty well maintained X1 carbon. The things I haven't done, which are worth doing at some stage, is to take this head off. And you can do a cold pull through, or you can get special filament to clean the actual nozzle out. I replaced this nozzle recently, so I'm very confident that it's clean enough. But you can also give that a little bit of a clean in there, but mine's absolutely fine. So we'll pop that back on. So that's one thing we can do. Other things you can do, I mean, you can go into the nth degree, really. You can loosen your belts off and realign them. I'm not going to do that because I did that recently. There's a few things, but ultimately we're really good. One thing you'll probably notice now is in my AMS unit, I did have some desiccant bead containers. I've taken them out because I'm going to recharge the desiccant inside of it, just to make it a bit more of a better sealed container in there. But it's looking very good. So one thing you might consider doing at this stage, actually, is to run one of the tests. I think it's in utilities. You can run a self-test or a calibration. I'm probably going to run a calibration now, just because I've moved things around and cleaned a lot of rods and all that stuff. I want it to be primed and up to date, and the print as well, I'll be doing a filament calibration and also a bed leveling. So I would recommend doing that personally. You don't have to, that's completely up to you. So I hope everyone's enjoyed the tutorial. It's been a long video, so if you have stuck around this long, thank you very much. I'll be doing more in the future for the A1 and the A1 Mini down there. But at the moment, this particular printer, for me, I use it a lot and it really needed a good clean. If there are any other tutorial videos you would like to see, get in touch. But thanks for watching, like and follow, and we really appreciate everyone's support. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.